There was a question about the selection process. So as Sarah mentioned, we have bumped the application process up to be earlier as to promote better planning for everyone. So previously the application opened in February. And that was February 2019, but now we've opened it in October 2019, just in order to help you all plan for the future. So the current application process is for the 2020-2021 first forward cohort. And then soon after the close of the application, which is a reminder, December 18, 2019, we will then convene a committee to select that cohort. And then share the selection or share notifications with all institutions by late January 2020. So it's a little bit of a timeline of the process and how we foresee it going. So again, just simply click the call out button and enter your question.
That new timeline too is intended for us to be able to get your travel stipends worked out and get all of the pieces ready that we need from you all prior to that First Forward workshop in June. As soon as you're selected, we begin the process of getting information to you, getting your travel stipends worked out so that you all can join us in Baltimore with no issues.
Sarah, we had a question come in and was asking whether or not they can attach documents or examples to their application. So by uploading an attachment. And the way we have the application set up is you can enter URLs, so websites or social media handles. There's not a place to upload any particular documents. In the space where you might be describing them or talking about them, that's where you could detail them. And if there is a link to reference, you could include the link in that space, but there is not a space to upload documents because we hope that you could share some details about those efforts in the application.
I think if you have a really unique situation or something that you feel like is imperative, you can always reach out to us at firstforward@naspa.org. I like to say we're really good responders. We will be back in touch with you very quickly. And so if there's something unique that you want to get more insight on, we're happy to chat about that too.
Yeah, there were a few institutions who did, in fact, email attach supplemental documents, and it was helpful when we went to reference particular things. So it's a really good point, Sarah. I wonder, Sarah, let's maybe talk a little bit more about the representatives from the institutions that they're submitting. So say an institution has, 3 in mind, but they've got, a handful others because maybe they have a campus-wide steering committee or group that meets regularly. How might those folks get involved?
So if you're thinking about your application process, I would say if you have cross-institutional collaborations, we love to see in an application that some of your primary contacts, I think you're able to submit 3, that you have maybe someone in different departments, often having a faculty member engaged or another person from a different area that really shows how you're gaining collaboration around the FirstGen space is really helpful. In the application portion of the process. I think outside of that, what you can also do, you'll notice in the application, there are many, many places where you can actually just detail information. We have some text boxes for you. If you actually feel like you want to share with us, we have a steering committee of 15 people, and here's who they are and where they fit within the institution. If you want to share that with us, please do. We love seeing that kind of information. We love seeing that kind of collaboration. And then if you are selected, there are many, many opportunities where your entire group or cohort or steering committee or just engagement of people that are interested in this work can come together and participate in the monthly calls, engaging with other institutions. They can come to, some of them would be able to come to the FirstGen workshop, participating in some of the online learning components that we have, the professional development. All those pieces kind of go together. So, but I say any kind of collaboration that you can demonstrate in your application is really helpful.
Those are some really good points. We've got a bunch of questions come in to the queue. This one is specific to planned events or scheduled items that haven't yet occurred or completed, just because they are scheduled out for the future. How should those be included in the application?
There's actually a space in the application that we ask you about the future. And one of the things that we not only want to know is what are you doing currently, but what are you thinking about for the future? So there are some spaces in the application where we say, what are the next few years look like at your institution for first gen? Knowing that you don't have it all figured out, that's fine. But you're thinking about it. And so anywhere in there that you can detail upcoming events, if you're really ahead of things or you're trying to submit this thing before November 8th and you want to detail your first gen celebration day event, feel free to do that. Again, there's many places throughout the application to add program details. You can always just denote it as forthcoming, or April 2020 we're planning to do this, and denote that there, but include some of that in those future sections as well, because we love to hear what you're planning to do in the future. So Dina, it looks like there's a question about common mistakes too.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, really, I think when approaching the application, it's really important to consider all the things your institution is doing. And so more detail, the better. And so I suppose the flip side of that is not including enough details. It's challenging for us to envision what these efforts look like, who they are, what the reach is for the participation of students, who else is involved across the institution. So as we stated previously with the application, really collaborate with your colleagues across your institution, identify faculty, staff who could contribute. That's probably the best approach, and share as much detail and information as possible, including URLs, including examples of programs or what have you. So I think that's a pretty important thing to keep in mind.
I would completely agree. More information is better. And I think the part about reach, sometimes we'll get an application that talks at length about a program, and this is the only first gen program they have. And then at the end of it, we think it's this campus-wide initiative. At the end, it says it serves 10 students. And that doesn't necessarily mean it precludes you from engagement if you're really doing a lot. But thinking about scale and reach and the efforts that you have within your community and providing those details is really helpful.
Sarah, can you speak to the number of 2- and 4-year institutions that currently are in the makeup of the inaugural cohort?
Yeah, sure. So I'll be really honest with you. The number of 2-year institutions was much smaller than we had hoped. We were really pushing for 2-year institutions to be engaged. And Dina, we have just a handful. There's just a handful in the current cohort of the 80. But I will tell you, over the last year, we have been engaged in the national landscape analysis on first generation programs at 2-year institutions. So we've really been able to identify a number of 2-year institutions across the country who are doing exciting first gen work. And so we're really encouraging 2-year institutions to apply because we would like to see that area grow. I think Dina and I both have been deeply committed to seeing more 2-year institutions and also more of our HBCU and minority serving institutions engaged in First Forward, because the 2-year institutions we currently have do engage with each other. They're all in different regional communities, but they do engage with each other to talk about the 2-year context. So please don't allow 2-year, 4-year status to worry you in the application process. We are looking for that, but our first year we were disappointed in some of our 2-year institutions. We also found that our 2-year institutions had a harder time getting support to apply. And if that's something that's concerning you or worrying you, please let us know. I made a number of calls last year to VPSAs and presidents at 2-year institutions who wanted to apply and when they were struggling, just to explain the program a little more. So I'm happy to advocate for an institution if you're struggling to get senior leadership support. One thing for you to really mention to senior leadership as you're trying to engage support, if that's a concern for you, is that this is a really cost-effective opportunity. We're providing you with stipends. We're not charging you to come to the First Forward workshop. I would say, Dina, probably the most an institution would spend on participating in 3 of the on-demand or live briefing events would maybe be $300 with a discount over the course of a year. Many of our institutions do many more than that. We also offer some sales, but this is not something that's intended to be a high cost endeavor. We're really about spreading the first gen conversation through this program.
Great, thanks for sharing that. I think we should maybe discuss what to expect at the workshop, what will be included. It serves as a kickoff And this is the workshop that occurs the day ahead of the NASPA conference on student success, on first generation student success, excuse me. And so the day-long workshop is dedicated primarily to the 2020-2021 cohort. There is going to be a professional development opportunity for the 2019-2020 cohort, and then there will be an opportunity for a joint professional development across both cohorts. But Sarah, I wonder if you could share a little bit more about the goal setting and then the unique professional development opportunity.
Sure. Yeah. Last year we were able to have our keynote speaker for the conference with us during that time, and some other colleagues who were thinking about a lot of different areas of the work in first gen. We work with institutions within their regional communities to participate in a goal setting exercise. Not only are you working with your colleagues who are with you from your institution, but also your colleagues across your regional community to talk about what are the things we're planning to do over the next year. We actually provide you, before you arrive, some things to think about. We encourage you all to get together and talk. We try to give you some real dedicated time and opportunity to think about, what does first gen mean over the next 6 months, year, 3 years, 5 years at your institution. I will say that so many people who attended last year, the feedback was, we just never get this opportunity to sit and think and talk. It was so nice to just be out of our work environment and to really dig in together, rather than it being in the middle of a day we're running to and fro and trying to figure all this out. And people were able to leave with really concrete goals. We provide you with worksheets and documents. We also provide you with an online version of all of this, so you can actually submit your goals to the center, so we can kind of help look and see what you're up to, and hold you accountable in some ways for that as well. That goal setting workshop then leads us to toward the end of the year of your first year in the program. We help you revisit those goals to help work on your annual report. And again, all of that is crafted for you. We make some space for you. One of the things we didn't mention, Dina, is that we offer an optional opportunity to attend a First Forward gathering at the NASPA annual conference as well. So our current cohort at NASPA annual conference in June and March, they'll have an opportunity to get together and work on annual reports, see their colleagues. We'll be doing some professional development. That's an optional gathering that will happen as a pre-conference workshop before the NASPA annual conference in Austin. But there's opportunities all throughout the year for you all to get together in that way as well.
So the question was whether or not your institution is required to host the on-demand webinar or just attend. It is a requirement to attend. So you register for the live or recorded event, and then you participate by viewing. What's a really great tactic that many institutions are doing is they're gathering a bunch of faculty and staff across their institution. They turn it into a brown bag lunch, and they view as a group. In some instances, we have. And then there is a question about stipends. Sarah, do you want to?
Sure. We offer each First Forward institution a small travel stipend to help offset the cost of attending the June First Forward workshop. Again, this year that would be in Orlando. Last year we were able to offer each institution about $300. That money is really dependent upon how many institutions are in the cohort. We have a pool of money, we're able to split that up, but you can use that however you would like in terms of offsetting the cost for a flight or hotel costs. There is no cost to attend the workshop. You would be responsible for attending the First Generation Student Success Conference should you choose to remain for it. One thing to note, though, is that we guarantee the early bird registration rate to all First Forward institutions for the conference. So you also get a little bit of a discount on making sure that the conference is cost appropriate as well. But just to clarify, the June 28th gathering, First Forward workshop in Baltimore, no charge to attend, and we provide you with a travel stipend to use amongst your team, however that is useful. If you would like to remain for the additional conference, you would need to pay for that, but we do guarantee the early bird rate for First Forward institutions. And then it says, how many on-demand webinars are offered throughout the year? We already have a really robust set of those available on our website. I would say we probably have maybe 10 or so already on the website. We add new ones just about every month on different topics. You would have opportunities to participate in any of those across the course, either the ones we already have available or new ones as we add them each month. We actually just had a new one yesterday that'll be available on our website very soon. Good opportunities to engage with those. And again, First Forward institutions receive a discount on those, but as Dina mentioned secretly, there is always a sale on those as well, where you can take advantage of that as well. But we keep the costs on those pretty low anyway.